Is my case uncommon? Long story long, with the same guy for 7 years, I excelled in college and he never could get his shit together enough to go to class, not from a lack of intellect, just a lack of motivation and possibly depression. I went to grad school and we were long distance for some of it. He was a 2-hour drive away, and I saw him almost every weekend. I get my first job in my career field in 2016, and after 10 months of long distance, and he moves out to be with me, 1,000 miles from our support base. I'm the breadwinner, he worked retail jobs. I didn't care, I never tried to make him feel bad about it. He proposed and we got married after 9 years of dating. He said he didn't mind me being the breadwinner and I trusted him. I get transferred to a town within 3 hours of our college town, close to both our families. We were good, or so I thought. Then I get transferred to our current town, which is where we started, our college town, closer to our friends and families. Then COVID hit. He hasn't gotten a job yet and is taking camping trips, which isn't so unusual. He has always done that and I never minded. Then in late June he tells me he is going to get an Airbnb at our previous town. He has since gotten an online part-time job, 2 hours away, said he is having trouble being motivated to get his work done at our apartment. I said that seems dumb since I worked my ass off to get us back to our college town. He then admits he has been cheating on me during his camping trips with a retail coworker for our last town. I know who she is because I've met her, kind of an unstable mess psychologically, and he thinks he loves her. I was gutted. He went to stay with his mom and then just didn't talk to me. I filed for divorce last week. My family and his family thinks he has had a nervous breakdown or something, too depressed to take care of himself, etc. I never expected this from him, at all. He seemed to always be a man or character and morals until this. Nobody in his family or our friend group knew he was having an affair. I'm close with his family and they are devastated. I'm reading statistics and it looks like it's common for men who are financially dependent on their wives to cheat. My therapist said he maybe felt like he was your damsel in distress, then to feel like a man again he gravitated towards someone who could be his damsel in distress, and that really made a lot of sense to me. His answer was, I fell out of love with you and now I love her, simple as that. All the while he is taking advantage of my income and good health insurance. He is obviously not the man I thought I married and not the man his family or my family thought he was. Maybe he is depressed or self-conscious, but he wouldn't ever admit that to me, I don't think. It's been 6 weeks since D-Day and I'm getting over the sadness and grief, but the anger remains. Not really anger at his mistress. I know she is a mess and hardly capable of taking care of herself, but I'm very angry at my STBXBC. I never once pressured him into marriage. He could have left me at any point. Seems like he just wanted his cake and eat it too. No kids, no shared property, the divorce should be very clean. I'm the one paying for it, of course, since he barely has a pot to piss in, plus my credit is stellar and his is awful. I know I should look at this as a clean break and I'm trying to. I still love him because he was my best friend for a decade and we had a healthy sex life and I thought we had a good marriage. I can't help feeling taken advantage of and completely angry at the betrayal. I'm trying to work through those emotions with counseling, and I think I have a realistic expectation of my immediate future. It's gonna suck for a long time, but I'm making the right decision. My hang-up is the fact that everyone that loves him knows this is so out of character for him. I do not regret filing for divorce, but I'm wondering if he will ever own up to his own bullshit. I know it doesn't really matter and I'm moving on without him. I guess I'm just asking for support from this community. Update. No longer waiting for my husband to wake up because I've woken up and know I deserve better. My future is mine. D-Day was back in June and I did the pick-me dance for exactly 2 weeks and then I told him I was done and the ATM was closed. Just waiting on him to sign the divorce papers, then I'm 100% free from worrying about his ass. I haven't been nasty, I didn't burn his things, I just set boundaries and stood my ground. I never thought I would have the strength to make it on my own, but here I am, doing fine without him. He didn't pay the bills. I always did because I worked hard to get to where I am in my career and I live so comfortably without him. I'm proud that life threw me horrendous curveballs and I didn't give up. I didn't lose my shit. I know I'm a strong woman who is 100% capable of making herself happy and I don't need a man to complete me. Sending love to everyone out there who is feeling lost and scared. You have this and you know your worth. Don't settle for empty promises. Update 2 rant. Dated 7 years, married since fall 2018, we were partners, best friends, and he falls out of love and finds another woman. Our family and friends thought we were a perfect match. D-Day was June 24th when he suddenly said he's been cheating, he loves her, and wants to be with her more than me, but he thought maybe he would make that decision after he went to counseling. Background: I never once pressured him to marry me. I was off starting my career. He could have left several times while we were long distance, but he always said I was his one, and he would stick with me. Fast forward, I'm working my ass off to get to our favorite city. I make the dollar, I pay the bills, he says we're partners, he's going to go back to school once we're settled so he can work on his career. He's been depressed for a while now. If it's BC he hasn't finished his education or BC me, the woman, is bringing in the income that affords him this lifestyle. Then he tells me he's been cheating on me for about 5 months with an unstable girl he worked retail with. I'm so mad I can't see straight. I'm so heartbroken that I can't breathe. He is willing to walk out on our decade-long relationship and all the love and support I've given him. His family, who I'm very close with, is distraught. They say he isn't in his right mind, etc. He doesn't seem remorseful at all. He is still talking to this girl and for all I know going to sleeping with her. He is now living with his mother and she apparently cries herself to sleep at night knowing he is making a huge mistake. Last week I summoned him. BC he hasn't initiated any contact with me since he first told me he cheated, and told him I was making the decision for him. Obviously our marriage vows mean nothing at all to him. He cries and says he never meant to hurt me, but he can't fight for us anymore. How could I be so stupid to marry this man? I feel like I was being safe dating him for so long, not pressuring him into marriage, so when we say I do I can trust it's for real. Now he doesn't want to fight for us and I feel like a fool, a failure. He has a chronic health condition which makes my insurance vital for him. He's leaving this, without a fight, to barely scrape by. I feel so used and taken advantage of. Update 3. My STBX hasn't told his family and we've been separated for almost 2 months. I still get family texts updating me on so-and-so being pregnant and just general how are you messages, none of which I respond to. Found out from would-be sister-in-law that my husband is living with out of charity, that I'm close with none of the extended family knows, and even one of my husband's brothers that he is close with doesn't know. He is close with his family and it seems like my husband is ignoring the situation completely and burying his head in the sand. Also found out that he has received the divorce papers from my lawyer in the mail and he is just ignoring that too. His family that knows thinks he going through a mental breakdown. He hasn't contacted me at all since he moved out almost 2 months ago and apparently is acting like everything is copacetic to his family that doesn't know. I'm worried that he is ignoring the divorce papers so that he stays on my health insurance for as long as possible, which he absolutely needs with his autoimmune disorder since he doesn't have a full-time job. I don't want to break the NC, but can I poke the bear so I can get this shit over with already? Update 4. Should we break NC to try to get him to sign the divorce papers? My husband cheated on me with a coworker and thinks he loves her and would rather be with her than me. Found out June 24th and he effectively moved out to live with his mother. I filed for divorce about 4 weeks ago and he has had the papers for about 3 weeks. The divorce petition is very fair. He keeps his shit and I keep mine. No kids, no shared property or assets. He hasn't signed yet and I'm still close with his family who confirms he isn't doing anything about the papers. My soon-to-be ex-brother-in-law told me he would try to get my STBXH to sign the papers and get this shit over with, but no headway so far. I fear he is delaying the divorce to keep taking advantage of my health insurance for as long as he can. He really needs health insurance, and from what I know he's working 2 part-time online jobs, so he doesn't have any insurance prospects right now. I'm fighting the urge to contact him and pleading for the love of God, please sign these papers so we each can move on and he can have whatever type of relationship he wants with the AP. I feel like by me contacting him is a win on his part, and I'll be damned if he gets anything more from me. I don't know what to do. Update 5. Progress. Being single again is not cleaning up after his mess anymore. Listening to whatever music I want to without headphones and dancing in the kitchen. Finding a friends with benefits who will do all those things my ex was too afraid to try in the bedroom. Not paying for all his wine and vape juice anymore. Buying myself a car instead of saving up to replace his old car. Watching whatever I want instead of having to watch the sci-fi crap he liked. Meeting new people and trying new hobbies. Not worrying about him cheating on me or trying to get through to him. Most importantly, learning who I am again as a single, independent woman and learning to put myself first. D-Day was back in June and it's been a roller coaster ride, but damn, I feel good and centered right now. Update 6. I'm 100% legally divorced, and her ex isn't doing so well. My divorce was finalized last week. It went to default because my ex just never responded and the judge signed off. When I got the decree email from my attorney, I laughed and smiled out of relief and then cried a little bit, because of feelings. Then after work I bought champagne and the guy I'm seeing came over to my place, toasted with me, took me to bed, and made me forget all about it. The weekend before, my ex-brother-in-law and his fiancée came over to hang out and catch up. We're still close. They told me that my ex-husband and his AP broke up sometime last month and he hasn't been handling it well, drowning his sorrows every night in a heroic amount of whiskey. Upon hearing that, I immediately felt heartbroken for him. Obviously he is reaping what he's sown, left a loyal wife for a mentally unstable infatuation situation, and you wonder why it didn't work? Suppose the grass isn't greener on the other side. I realized then that I do not hate my ex-husband. I accept that the man that I thought had strong character and infallible morals was just a flawed man that talked a good game, and he wasn't that strong after all. Here's hoping he gets the help he needs. I look in the mirror today and I see who had the strength in the relationship, the one who made it all happen, the steady, true, reliable pillar that kept the walls up. I remember so vividly feeling lost without him right after I found out. Now I see that he is one who is lost. I still have my days of feeling off and feeling sad. But I don't miss my ex-husband. I don't miss who I used to be with him. This woman right here and right now is having a good time and continually learning who she is and what she wants. And above all, she knows her worth. Update 7. Sometimes the strongest bonds come from shared pain. Has anyone else found a significant other or new friend after bonding over your respective experiences being cheated on? I'm dating a new guy and we spent a lot of time on the first few dates sharing what our spouses did and how it made us feel, etc. I know some people think it's bad form to discuss such things when first meeting someone, but it was refreshing to talk about the hard stuff with someone who has gone through the same thing. I also think it's a good view into someone's character seeing how they speak of their trauma. Has anyone else found this to be the case? Update 8. Healing definitely ebbs and flows. I'm over a year out from my divorce from a cheater. And I've been for a long time very matter-of-fact about the details. My husband cheated, and I divorced him without his cooperation. I've been good, I think, for a while. But then I started dating someone who also got cheated on. He is a wonderful man whose wife just kept stepping out. We bonded a bit on our shared trauma of being cheated on, but found a wealth of other things we love about each other. I'm very happy with him in my life. He is loving and nurturing and sensitive. I'm happier now than I've been in a long time. But I'm watching him go through his divorce with his cheater. He has 2 children with her. He is dealing with a lot of emotions that everyone in this sub would understand. I'm doing my best to be here for him. Overall hope, I'm doing a good job of it. One thing though, seeing him deal with this is bringing up things in my emotions I thought I put to rest. In a way, I'm reliving some of my emotions of when I was in the early stages of separating from my cheating ex. My therapist reminds me that healing isn't linear, we get better and then get worse and then better again. I don't even know what I'm trying to say other than I didn't expect to rehash the betrayal of my divorce by watching someone else go through it. Has anyone else been in a situation where they felt like they were done with the betrayal emotions just to have it come up again? Update 9. Ex-husband knocked up his AP, now his life is looking pretty tough. My husband admitted to having an affair in June of 2020, I kicked him out the next month, and got officially divorced without any cooperation from him November 2020. I heard from my ex-laws that he and his little AP didn't work out about 4 months after I kicked him out, apparently because he blamed her for ruining my marriage. Earlier this week, the ex-laws who I'm still relatively close with let me know that he knocked up this same girl last fall and she is due to birth their child next month. Supposedly this was an accident and he and her weren't really serious when the conception happened, also dating other people. When he was asked how he could know the baby was actually his, the answer he gave was she wouldn't do that to me. Reportedly she doesn't want the kid, and is supposed to hand over the baby to my ex-husband after the delivery. I've never known him to want kids either, but I also never knew him to be a cheater until he was one. This man almost cannot take care of himself, he relies heavily on my ex-mother-in-law, but yet he's planning to raise a baby girl on his own. My heart breaks for the baby. My ex-laws apparently had a discussion about who should tell me the news, and my ex-sister and brother-in-law said they'd do it. I think it's strange the family was so concerned about how I'd react. I was a little shocked, but honestly I'm just so relieved I'm not in that situation with him. I hope he turns out to be a good father for that baby's sake, but I don't have high expectations. TLDR, cheating ex-husband is now gonna raise his AP's baby on his own, or try to at least. Final update. Asking for support. What keeps you in C? Feeling angry after a year and a half. My ex cheated on me and we were in C since I filed for divorce in August 2020. Since then I have not been in contact with him at all. I still speak with his family because they give me lots of personal support. I recently found out he is going to raise his AP's child alone, at least that is the plan. I'm still angry. I still want to tell him what a coward he is for not dealing with our separation, but at the same time I think my silence is best. If he doesn't feel the need to even answer divorce papers after 10 years of being together and being each other's best friends, I have no use for him. I want to scream at him, but I don't think it will make me feel better in the long run. I want to hear from people who have left their cheater and moved on, and why you don't ultimately contact them to express your anger. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you on the next one. Good day, everyone.